The forest panic. The day trust disappeared. The next morning, Squirrel couldn't sleep. The director's words echoed in his head. What if everyone asks for their acorns back at the same time? At first, the idea seemed ridiculous. Why would everyone do that? The bank was working. Rabbit's farm was growing. Beaver's dam was being built. The loans were helping the entire forest. But the question refused to leave his mind. So after breakfast, Squirrel walked down to the market. Something felt different. The forest was unusually quiet. Near the river, he spotted Rabbit talking nervously to Beaver. "I went to the bank this morning," Rabbit whispered. "I only wanted 50 acorns for seeds." Beaver frowned. "And? They told me to come back next week." Beaver's tail froze. "Next week? My workers need to be paid today." Squirrel slowed down. A strange feeling crawled into his stomach. Rabbit looked around carefully before speaking again. "I heard something." "What?" "The bank doesn't actually have our acorns." Beaver stared. "What do you mean?" "I heard they loaned most of them to Bear and Fox." For a moment, nobody spoke. Squirrel felt his heartbeat quicken. The secret was escaping the bank. By noon, whispers filled every corner of Acorn Forest. The whispers became rumors. The rumors became panic. "The bank is empty. Our savings are gone. Get your acorns out now." Animals dropped their tools. Farmers left their fields. Shopkeepers closed their stores. Workers abandoned construction sites. Everyone rushed toward Squirrel Bank. When Squirrel arrived, the sight shocked him. A giant crowd surrounded the building. Hundreds of animals were packed together. Some were shouting. Some were crying. Some were clutching their deposit books as if they were life preservers. At the front of the line stood Bear. He slammed both paws against the counter. "I want my 10,000 acorns now." The tellers inside looked terrified. Squirrel stood back and watched. Part of him wanted to laugh. The crowd didn't understand how banking worked. The director had explained everything yesterday. The loans, the farms, the dam. The system made sense. Then Bear walked away carrying bags of acorns. A few minutes later, Rabbit withdrew his savings too. Then Beaver. Then dozens more animals. Squirrel felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Suddenly a frightening thought appeared. What if the bank really does run out? What if everyone else gets their acorns first? What if I'm the last one left? Squirrel looked down at his deposit book. Inside was nearly everything he owned. Years of saving. Years of skipped treats. Years of hard work. The future chestnut house he dreamed about. He looked back at the crowd. 5 minutes later, Squirrel was standing in line too. The panic had become contagious. Even animals who trusted the bank were withdrawing their savings. Not because they believed the rumors. Because they believed everyone else believed them. The line grew longer, and longer, and longer. Finally, the director stepped onto the balcony. "Please remain calm." The crowd ignored him. "Your savings are safe." Nobody listened. "The bank only keeps a small fraction of deposits in the vault." The shouting grew louder. "The rest is invested in farms, businesses, and projects throughout the forest." The crowd didn't care about investments. They wanted acorns. "Now, give us our money. Open the vault. You lied to us." Fear had completely replaced trust. And fear spreads faster than facts. By mid-afternoon, the impossible happened. The vault was empty. Every physical acorn the bank had available was gone. Inside, the tellers locked the doors. Wooden shutters slammed over the windows. A large sign appeared on the entrance. "Bank closed until further notice." Silence fell across the crowd. No one moved. No one spoke. The bank was closed. Their savings were trapped. Rabbit slowly sat beneath a tree. Without seeds, his next harvest might never happen. Beaver stared at his unfinished dam. His workers had already gone home. Even Bear looked defeated. He was rich on paper. But he couldn't buy dinner. As the afternoon faded, something strange happened. The entire forest began to freeze. Not literally, economically. Shops stopped selling. Farmers stopped buying. Workers stopped working. Merchants stopped trading. The flow of acorns that kept the forest alive had suddenly stopped. And all because trust had disappeared. As the sun began to set, Squirrel climbed the hill overlooking the market. Below him, Acorn Forest felt smaller than ever. Yesterday, the bank seemed magical. 1 million acorns had somehow become 10 million. The system looked powerful, almost limitless, but now Squirrel understood the hidden truth. The magic was never the acorns. The magic was trust. The loans worked because animals trusted the bank. The bank worked because animals trusted each other. The economy worked because everyone believed tomorrow would be normal. And the moment that belief disappeared, everything stopped. The bank building stood dark against the evening sky. Not destroyed, not robbed, not burned down, simply abandoned by trust. That night, Squirrel learned the hardest lesson in all of finance. An economy is not built on acorns. It is not built on gold. It is not even built on money. It is built on trust. And when trust runs out, the bank runs out too.